Tales from the wild. Stories from the heart. A journey into the mind and soul of fired-up business professionals where they share their vision for the future. And hear from a different non-profit organization every month as they create awareness of their goals and their needs. Dive into a world of untamed passion as we join our host, Shireen Buerta, for this month's episode of Friends from Wild Places.
You talking about the repeated pattern, because I think a lot of us we recognize there's a repeated pattern, but I know for myself that I recognize there's a repeated pattern, but I run away from it because I know the pain that comes with that repeated pattern. So I just want to avoid it completely instead of doing what you're doing and actually dealing with it so that I can't.
So one thing, I don't want to, this isn't you, this is everybody. But if you avoid the pain, it will continue to repeat.
That's it.
It will continue to repeat. So it takes courage and it takes a certain amount of awareness to realize that, yes, I have a repeating pattern. There's a suppressed emotion that goes with it that needs to be healed. And so it's very, very easy. I don't want to use you an example, but I can if you want for just a sec. So
why not?
So,
it's a safe space.
So imagine yourself being in that situation that makes you want to run away. So just imagine that you're in that just for a moment. You don't have to just think about it. And so what's going to happen is that you're going to feel a certain feeling and you're going to feel it somewhere in your body. So if you could feel that feeling and put one or two words on it, what would you call it?
Geez, I don't even think that there's a word strong enough to what the feeling is.
Okay, so we'll just call it a strong feeling. How's that?
Yeah, it's
Okay, so where do you feel that in your body?
in my gut, like right here, like
Okay.
hits me right
Okay,
here.
so if we're talking spiritually, it would be okay. It's the suppressed emotion is in your third chakra, which is your chakra of power and control. And so if I was to work with you at the hypnotherapy session, that's all I would need to do for our first session. And we wouldn't have to go relive your past or anything like that. But we could take you into a relaxed state, lower the critical faculty of the mind, open you up to where you experience that overwhelming feeling in your gut and simply let it go through different techniques. So I wouldn't have to know anything about you. I wouldn't have to know your history or anything. And you could start to be, and you, within 3 days, I send people a follow-up sheet where they can tick off the results to see the results immediately afterwards. Because if the session was effective, you'll start to see shifts immediately after the session maybe within the first 3 days for sure. And then at that point, you could continue if you want to go on with it. Then we get like deeper and deeper as we go. But everyone has core issues to deal with, but also no one has that many. We just have a few, and so when you get into the healing part of things, you can experience some very accelerated growth over a short period of time. And usually when people get help in healing, it's when they're ready. So you don't have to like worry about, do I need this stuff? So no, it's like when the issues come up, that's when it's time to deal with it.
Okay.
And just amazing. Do you do it virtually too? Like people can have
Yeah,
virtual
I work on Zoom and I do groups and all sorts of stuff. So
Would it be more powerful in person though than Zoom?
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. But it's very, very effective on Zoom also, because what we're doing is that we're going into your subconscious mind. I don't need to be there, I can even, so like on my video courses, I have people watching, like for 6 years, people watch like 10,000 minutes of my videos a month. It's like, so I'm out there like continually spinning in space and I don't know if I'm helping anyone or not. It's so weird, So, but yes, you can do it virtually. You can do it with online courses. It's the most effective way is to do it in person because that's when we can actually get into the hands-on healing part of it. That's what brings in the energy healing component. I can do that at a distance as well, but it's always, it takes it up a notch in person.
Yeah. My goodness. Joseph, you've written a book, right? Can you talk a little bit more about that as well?
I've published 5 so far. I've written
Okay,
probably
so
40.
then here's my question. What is the one book that's impacted your life the most? And could you talk about that one a little bit more?
Absolutely. Jason and the Crawdad King. It's a children's picture book. So there's a story behind this one. So in 2015, I was struggling financially, which us healers tend to do. And I was really down in the dumps. And a friend of mine said, "Hey, let's go for a backpacking trip into Glacier National Park in the United States." And so we went for a 4-day hiking trip. We climbed mountains, saw grizzly bears, and I was really, really depressed going into this trip. And I had these experiences with animals that were just crazy. So this is part of my spiritual connection with nature. And so the first day before we left, we were at a car campground at this lake before we'd take off into the trail. And so I just went walking with my flip-flops on just down this creek, ankle deep, feeling really depressed. And I heard this noise in the bush and I thought, oh my God, it's a grizzly bear, and it was a squirrel. And the squirrel runs up this tree, hangs over this limb, is about 10 or 15 feet ahead of me, and I'm standing in this creek and it starts chattering at me like crazy. And I asked it, can you please help me deal with this pain and release the pain? I asked it out loud. It runs down this tree, runs down this log, and runs up this other log and is like 2 feet away from me, and it jumps on me. I couldn't believe it. And so that was the beginning of our trip. And so it was really smoky during this trip. This is a very symbolic trip. We get up to this pass, the temperature drops 20 degrees, the wind blows, and it starts snowing. And this is in August, in the middle of summer. And so we get buried in snow. But the next day we wake up and it's beautifully clear. So it's like it was this symbolic thing that like all this stuff has got cleared out. So I come back from that trip at the end of the week. So this is so I'm all charged up with nature. I'm in a great mood. And I'm whitewater kayaking the next week. And as I'm pulling my boat out of the water, I see this thing in the water and it looked like this dead little creature. And so I picked it up and it was a crawdad or a crayfish, whatever you want to call them, tangled up in fishing line. And so I meticulously unwound it, threw it back in the water, it took off. And then I went home and my wife that night said, that'd make a really great children's story. And so I wrote Jason and the Crawdad King the next day at a coffee shop on a napkin. And then the magical part of it came afterwards when I connected with this illustrator named Lily Avicum she was born in Tehran, Iran. And we worked for 8 months on this book and it was just absolutely a magical experience. It was great from beginning to the end. And the story is um, this kid goes down a boat, finds a crawdad, pulls it out of the water, and for his saving this king's life, he goes underground or underwater in his dreams at night, and he turns him into an artist afterwards. So, so I don't know. So that was like such a magical story, and Lily and I still have a pretty good connection to it. So it's great.
That's such a beautiful story. Thank you for sharing, Joseph.
Yeah.
Yeah, listeners, you know that we love also supporting each other is a really big thing right here in the studio, but it's also very important that we support a nonprofit for the month. And so
Hmm.
that part of the show has come. And so for this month, we want to support
Yeah.
resources.org. We're going to have all the links in the show notes for you to go and donate and assist and go and check it out, see what they're about. But Joseph, since you're here, I'd love you to just share with us and the listeners a little bit more about the organization and what it does for the community. I know I've looked into it, but I know the listeners don't really know.
Yeah.
So,
So Resources is a small nonprofit. It's in Bellingham, Washington. And there's two aspects. I used to work for Resources long ago. And so I would go around to schools and give presentations on recycling and wise use of resources. And so what the other part of Resources is, it's a construction recycling facility. So they'll go in it to places where they're tearing down old buildings or homes and stuff, and they'll take out everything that's salvageable. And so it's like kind of a Goodwill construction store. So they recycle all these building materials that otherwise would go into the waste stream, and so they're fabulous. They're incredible. It's been at it a long time. And Bellingham is the kind of town that would really support that kind of stuff. So, it's very, I don't know, what do you call them? Very earthy sort of vibe.
Eco-friendly. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I think it's really
Yeah.
cool. If you want to know more,
Yeah.
go check it out. We've got it in the show notes. Learn more about resources.org. It's about us, so go check it out, listeners. That's our nonprofit for the month. We love
Yeah.
it. We wanna support and make small little changes wherever we can. So thank you, Joseph, for bringing that to our attention. We really appreciate it. Before we move on, do we have any other questions that we want to ask you before we get into a little bit of a game?
I just want to ask Joseph. Joseph, do you have anything based on, our podcast, today, as far as anything that we didn't ask you, maybe that you would like the listeners to know, or, something maybe that, anything at all, like from your perspective?
So just I kind of mentioned on it a little bit, but it's kind of my whole focus is I've gone through all this hypnotherapy and energy healing, and all that great things. But it's kind of where my heart really lies right now is like in the advocacy for soul evolution, and um, so that is doing our healing work and then tapping into this higher quantum energy to help us progress as a species. And so when we start to learn to do that collectively, I really think we're going to be able to do things that we consider miraculous right now. When we start to learn how to use these higher vibrational energies collectively as a people. And believe me, the world needs it right now. Because all
Yeah.
this, when you work in higher vibrational energies, um, it's aligned with very high levels of integrity. So it can't not work with low vibe. So it's all high vibe stuff. So it's all about the betterment of everyone. So
Mm,
it's about, it's not like, like our financial system is so set up to benefit just a few, so this is for the betterment of all. And this all inclusive mentality is what we're going to need to survive
mm,
as a species because, we're at a critical phase right now. And so we need to go through a critical level of development. And so we
Maybe we
need to be,
can do a LinkedIn Live or something. We can do
yeah,
Joseph LinkedIn Live and get
yeah,
everybody on LinkedIn, or
yeah,
something.
and have us go into meditative states where I actually feel the energy, and then, just realize that, well, a lot of people do realize, but we need to all come together now in a way that we never have before. And so technology is a plus and minus to that because um, technology can unite us all, but technology is also making us incredibly isolated. So, we all spend a lot of time alone more than we ever used to. So, on our technology.
mm.
So,
Okay,
so
thank you.
whatever.
And
So yeah, that's it.
that's
So
the higher level conscious, right? For
higher
humanity.
levels of consciousness for
Yes,
for everyone.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Okay,
Not
so
just for
and I'll turn it right back over to Shireen in 1 second. What is your spirit animal guide? Is it the
ooh.
squirrel? Is it the bear? Or did any of those happen to what is it, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, for me? Or
For you.
oh, so I've got two for sure. So one is a Canadian goose, and so I used to. This might not be sound so great, but I used to. My father raised me, hunting ducks and geese, and so one time when I was in my 20s, I was in the fog, and I was walking along a riverbank, and I called a goose out of the fog, and I shot it, and I killed it, and it came, and when it landed, it came right to my feet, and I could feel the energy of the goose transfer into my body. And so, um, and so they've been my animal totems ever since. I quit hunting that moment, that at that second, and
Really? Wow.
yeah, yeah, and so they're around whenever, whenever I need help and I see them in very unusual places at times. And then the other one would be the grizzly bear, just because I've had so much interaction with them, especially working as a geologist and stuff. They used to call me Bear Man, and I had fellow geologists that wouldn't work with me because I attracted bears.
You got to like put that on a t-shirt or something, or a hat.
Yeah, yeah, Bear Man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Back to you, Shireen.
Yeah, yeah. So we've come to that part of the podcast where we're going to do something a little bit fun before we end the podcast. So I thought about an association game. We've played it before on the podcast and we seem to have quite a bit of fun with it. So have you played association game? Do you know what it's about? Joseph and Tanya? I think Tanya, you know. Joseph?
I think you just say a word and the next person says a word that's similar or something like that.
Right, that's related to the word. And then you
Yeah.
can't repeat the same word. That's obviously game over. And if
Sounds
you,
like a college party game.
yeah, Or if you run out of words and you can't think,
Yeah,
it's also a way
yeah.
of game over. All right, let's start because I think I've got a good one.
Are we going in certain order or?
Yes, let's go myself, Joseph, Tanya, and then back to me
Okay.
again. All right.
Okay.
Okay, let's go. Pumpkin spice,
Tea,
Honey,
bread,
butter,
jam,
peanut butter,
Reese's,
Cracker Jacks,
Hershey's,
Pennsylvania,
Harry Potter,
um, Hermione Granger,
woman,
Princess,
Queen,
Diana,
England,
Prince Charles.
the Queen, the Queen.
No, someone said the Queen already.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay. Downton Abbey.
Okay, well, that was actually the longest, the association game we played on this podcast. That's the longest time it's
Not a
lasted.
mistake.
yes, it's
Oops,
awesome.
okay, I did it. Oops.
It's okay. It's okay. It's the
It's
longest
fun.
we've actually gone. So I think we
Yeah.
just broke our own world record right here. Thanks, Joseph. Even though it was game over by you, but do you want to do one more round before we end?
Yeah.
Joseph, you broke the cycle, so you can start.
Okay, let's go. The Beatles.
Music,
Butterfly,
Insect.
Ladybug,
bee,
Honey.
Toast,
ah, soup,
Spoon.
Fork,
knife,
Injury.
Band-Aid,
hospital,
Hypnotherapy.
Joseph,
virtual,
Reality.
Zoom,
mm, podcast,
Internet.
modem,
um, Instagram,
Oh. Nausea.
vomiting,
um, Valoid.
What?
Oh,
Medicine?
it takes the helps for vomiting. Valoid.
Medicine. Got it.
pill,
Wait, wait, hold on. I said Valoid. What did you say, Joseph?
Medicine.
Is that not the same as Valoid? It's a medicine that you take when you vomit.
No, we've never heard of it, Shireen. We never heard of that medicine.
Okay,
Yeah, I
okay.
had to make it up.
That's fair. No, it's true. Tanya, what did you say?
I said pill,
Cheese. Water.
Cup.
ice,
Mm, coffee.
Buzz.
B.
We
Oh,
said
I think
B.
we already said B. We already said B again. Okay.
Eh.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
It was fun. It was fun.
Thanks so much, guys. I really appreciate it. It always gets the brain going. Last time I was the one that kept on ending it and buggering it up the whole time. So I'm glad it wasn't me this time round. All right, listeners, I can't believe it's that time already. We've come to the end of the podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I'm going to take some time out just to allow Joseph and Tanya just to share with you guys where you can find them, especially if you connected with either of us and you really want to chat to us or you have any questions. Joseph, where can the listeners find you?
So the best place to find me is on my website. It's jdhacademy.org. So there's little freebies on the front page if you want to download one.
Oh my gosh, so cool. Tanya, what about yourself?
Okay, so I'm currently actually in West Virginia doing some research on Civil War cemeteries. So,
Wow.
but you can find me on LinkedIn. That is my hub. As most of our listeners know, I don't have a TV. So that's where you could find me. I spend a lot of time there. Connect with me. As many of our folks know, I do oversee the mortuary program at Miami-Dade College in Miami, Florida. I also work in the senior space, matching people with communities who can no longer live alone, and also as an expert witness for funeral home and cemetery cases. So trying to build my caseload here. I just got a bunch new cases. So trying to do some deep dive into cemetery, different types of tablets and headstones in West Virginia.
That's amazing. That's so
Fascinating.
cool. Yeah, so where you can find me, all the socials, if you want to find me, Shireen Buerta, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram, on all those places. But Shireen's bookkeeping is mostly, I do have the other socials, but I'm mostly active on LinkedIn, just like Tanya. For the podcast, we have a website, friendsfromwildplaces.buzzsprout.com. That's friendsfromwildplaces.buzzsprout.com. But you can find us on all the streaming networks from Spotify to Apple, iTunes to all of it. We're there. You can just search Friends from Wild Places and we'll come up. Please, we are on YouTube. If you could leave us a little bit of a review or just a comment or share, or tell us what you think. That also is a great way of telling us if we're doing something right or wrong. But other than that, thank you so much for your support, listeners. We're always here for you. And remember, you got this and stay wild. Bye, guys.
You've been listening to Friends from Wild Places with Shireen Buerta. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast from the links to catch every episode and unleash your passion.